Hey students, if you're watching this video, that means you need a little help on your homework, page 567, 25 through 32. If that is not the right video or the right homework, please stop and find the right one. You know by now, I go fast. You can always rewind, but you can't speed me up. So I'm not going to try to win the Neatness of the Year award. Let's start off with number 25. Number 25, your book should be open to page 567. You're going to see you've got a right angle here, an X here, a Y here, 46 degrees here, and an 8 right here. All right, there we go. That's number 25. And find the length of the legs of the triangle. Now, we cannot use 30, 60, 90. We cannot use 45, 45, 90. We cannot use Pythagorean's theorem, and we can't use tangent either, because if you used tangent of 46, it would be opposite, which is x, over adjacent, which is y. So the only thing we have left to use is cosine and sine. So here we go. See this angle here? 46. Let's go straight across. We're going to call this our opposite side. Here's my right angle. Go straight across. This is called my hypotenuse. And this side here is called my adjacent side. Now, we're going to find, let's start with sine. We're going to use sine of 46. That's my angle right here. Sine of 46 equals opposite over hypotenuse. Okay? So let's continue on. Sine of 46 equals, what is opposite? It's x. What is hypotenuse? 8. Now I've taught you whatever the bottom of the fraction is, you multiply both sides by whatever that is. So we multiply one side by 8, multiply the other side by 8. Your 8's cancel, leaving you with x. And over here we have 8 times, that should be an 8 right there, 8 times the sine of 46. Now let's see. Make sure you're in degrees. The sine of 46 is 0.7193. 0.7193. And then multiply that times 8, and you get 5.75. 5.75. So there's the length of one side. That's your x right here. 5.75. Now let's use cosine. We have cosine of 46. And what does cosine equal? Adjacent over hypotenuse. So cosine of 46 equals adjacent, which is y, over hypotenuse, which is 8. Your bottom is 8, so we're going to multiply one side by 8, multiply the other side by 8. Your 8's cancel, leaving you with y. Over here you have 8 times the cosine of 46. The cosine of 46 is 0.6947. 0.6947. And then multiply that times 8, and you get 5.56. 5.56 equals y. So we come over here, and the length of this side here is 5.56. Moving on, let's take a look at number 26. Number 26. Alright, there's the triangle. And there's the right angle. And we have a hypotenuse of 14, a y here, an x here. And it looks like our top angle is 54 degrees. And okay, let's solve for x and y. Did you find it, Josh? Did you find it or not? Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, let's solve for x and y. Well, you cannot use 45, 45, 90. You cannot use 30, 60, 90. You cannot use Pythagorean's theorem, and you cannot use tangent. So we're going to have to use something else. So we're going to use sine. The sine of what angle? Well, the only angle they give you, 54 degrees. Now put your pencil on 54, go straight across. And when you go straight across, this is your opposite side. This is your right angle, so 14 is your hypotenuse. And x here, this side here, must be your adjacent side. Okay, sine of 54 equals opposite over hypotenuse. So sine of 54 equals opposite y over hypotenuse 14. We're going to multiply this side by 14. I've done this so many times now, students. I'll do it one more time on this problem, and I'm going to show it to you. From here on now, I'm just going to tell you what we're doing. The bottom is 14, so we multiply one side by 14, and we multiply the other side by 14. Here those cancel, leaving you with y. Over here we have 14 times. What is the sine of 54? Well, we're about ready to find out. Sine of 54 is 0.8090, so 0.8090, and then times 14, and that would give us 11.33. 11.33. You're going to hear a little bit of background noise. My kids are playing games, some video games, but just try to ignore that, please. Thanks. All right, and that is y. Okay, now let's go ahead and use cosine. So cosine of 54 degrees equals adjacent over hypotenuse. All right, so cosine of 54 degrees equals adjacent x over hypotenuse 14. The bottom is 14. Everybody should see that okay. So we multiply the right side by 14, and we multiply the left side by 14. 14's cancel, leaving you with x. Over here we have 14 times, well, let's see, cosine of 54, that would be, give me 1 second please. That would be 0.5877. 0.5877, and then multiply that by 14, and you should get 8.23. 8.23. So we found the lengths of x and y. All right, let's go on and take a look at number 27. Number 27. All right, number 27 looks like this. All right. There's our right angle, and this side is x, this side is y. This hypotenuse has a length of 11, and it looks like the angle here is 29 degrees. We cannot use 30, 60, 90. We cannot use 45, 45, 90. We cannot use Pythagorean's theorem, and we cannot use tangent. So we are going to use sine and cosine. Let's start off with sine. Sine of 29 degrees equals, okay, here's 29, go straight across. This is my opposite side. Here's my right angle. This is my hypotenuse, and this is my adjacent side right here. Okay, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse, so sine of 29 equals opposite, which is x, over hypotenuse, which is 11. Multiply the right side by 11. When you do, the 11's cancel out, leaving you with x. Multiply this side by 11, and you would have 11 times sine of 29. And the sine of 29 is 0.4848. So 0.4848. And now multiply these two numbers together, and you will come up with 5.3. 5.3. And so that would be x. So we come over here, and x right here is 5.3. All right, let's go ahead and use cosine now. Let's see what we can come up with here. All right, cosine of 29 degrees equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So cosine of 29 degrees equals y over 11. Multiply the right side by 11. Your 11's would cancel out, leaving you with y. Multiply this side by 11. 11 times cosine of 29. And the cosine of 29 would be 0.8746. 0.8746. And, excuse me. And then multiply those two together, and you will come up with 9.6. So y would be 9.6. So we come over here to y, and this side right here is 9.6. Let's take a look at number 28. Number 28. All right, triangle looks like this. And let's see, we have right angle there. Hypotenuse is 16. This leg is x, this leg is y, and the angle is right. I think I got it backwards. Yeah, sorry about that. This is x, and this is y, and it looks like your angle is 24 degrees. 24 degrees. So here we go. Let's have some fun, shall we? All right, we cannot use 30, 60, 90. We cannot use 45, 45, 90. We cannot use Pythagorean's theorem. We cannot use tangent, so we're going to use sine. Let's first of all go to this angle here and go across. We'll call this our opposite side. Here's my right angle. Go across. We'll call this our hypotenuse. The other side has to be your adjacent side. Okay, here we go. Sine of 24 equals opposite over hypotenuse. So next we would say the sine of 24 equals opposite is y, hypotenuse is 16. Next, I've taught you to multiply both sides by the bottom, so multiply the right side by 16. 16's cancel, leaving you with y. Over here, we're going to multiply the left side by 16, so 16 times the sine of 24. Well, let's see, what is the sine of 24? The sine of 24 is 0.4067, so 0.4067, and then times 16. And you'll get 6.5. So multiply these two numbers together and you'll get 6.5 for a y. So we come up here, here's y, so this side here has a length of 6.5. Now let's use cosine. Cosine of 24 degrees equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Cosine of 24 degrees equals, your adjacent is x and your hypotenuse is 16. Now we're going to multiply the right side by 16. That would cancel out your 16s, leaving you with x. We're going to multiply the left side by 16. 16 times the cosine of 24. And the cosine of 24 is 0.9135. 0.9135. All right, let's multiply that times 16, and you'll get 14.62. 14.62 equals x. So come over here. The length of this x side here, the length of this side is 14.62. So we're starting to solve triangles pretty easily now. It's good. All right, number 29. Let's see what the triangle looks like. I guess it's over, then down, and then up like that, I believe. And let's see, right angles here. Your hypotenuse in this problem is 15. This top leg is x. The leg to the right is y. And the angle right down here is 37 degrees. All right. Well, let's see if we can't solve for x and y in this triangle. All right. First of all, you cannot use 30, 60, 90. You cannot use 45, 45, 90. You cannot use Pythagorean theorem. You cannot use tangent. And so we're going to have to use sine and cosine. Now, here's your angle. Go straight across. Over here, this would be your opposite side. Here's your right angle, go straight across. This would be your hypotenuse. And the only side left is this third side, so it has to be your adjacent side. Okay, here we go. Sine of 37 degrees equals opposite over hypotenuse. Sine of 37 degrees equals opposite, which is x, over hypotenuse, which is 15. Now multiply the right side by 15. Your 15's cancel out, leaving you with x. Multiply the left side by 15. 15 times the sine of 37. So let's see what the sine of 37 is. Sine of 37 is 0.6018. So 0.6018. And then multiply those two numbers together, and you will get 9.02, or 9.03 to be exact, 9.03. So we come up here, we know the length of this side of the triangle is 9.03. This is pretty cool, we can do this. Okay, the cosine now of 37 degrees, cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse, that is an A right there, and that's an H. And so then we'd say the cosine of 37 degrees equals adjacent, which is y, over hypotenuse, which is 15. Now we're going to multiply the right side by 15. Your 15s would cancel, leaving you with y. You're going to multiply the left side by 15, which is 15 times cosine of 37. The cosine of 37 is 0.7986. 0.7986. Of course, oh, I said 68. 86. Multiply those two numbers together, and you'll get 11.98. 11.98 equals y. So the length of y right here is 11.98. All right. Let's take a look at one more problem, then we'll do two word problems, okay? Which I know you're thrilled about that. Okay, the right angle looks something, or the right triangle looks something like that, I believe, if I've seen that correctly. There's your right angle. Looks like your hypotenuse is pretty big. It's 26. Your left leg is y. Your right leg here is x. And the angle we're dealing with is right here, and it's 68 degrees. Now, let's first of all go to 68 and go straight across. This is your opposite side. Here's the right angle. Go straight across. This is your hypotenuse. So the third side has to be your adjacent side. Now let's go ahead and let's get some boundaries drawn up here so we have some bit of organization. And here we go. Okay, you cannot use 30, 60, 90. You cannot use 45, 45, 90. You cannot use tangent, and you cannot use Pythagorean's theorem. So we're going to have to use the sine of 68 equals opposite over hypotenuse. So the sine of 68 equals opposite, which is x, over hypotenuse, which is 26. Now we're going to multiply the right side by 26, so you're left with x. We're going to multiply the left side by 26, so we have 26 times the sine of 68. The sine of 68 is 0.9272. 0.9272. Multiply those two numbers together right there, and you will come up with 24.11. 24.11. And that's x. So the length of this side right here is 24.11. Excuse me. Now we're going to do the cosine of 68 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So next we're going to say the cosine of 68 equals adjacent, which is y, over hypotenuse, which is 26. Multiply the right side by 26, you're left with y. Multiply the left side by 26, and we have 26 times cosine of 68, which is 0.3746. 0.3746. Multiply these two numbers together, and you're left with 9.74. 9.74. So this length right here of this side would be 9.74. That's the length of that side right there. Alright, let's take a look at number 31. Again, if you hear my kids, they're playing video games and having a good time. So, alright, just ignore them. Number 31, a ladder that's 15 feet long is leaning against the wall. The ladder makes an angle of 70 degrees with the ground. Make a sketch. Then determine how high up the wall the ladder reaches. Now, this is not that hard of a problem, even slightly, students. First of all, here's the ground. Next, here's the building. Okay, the ladder is 15 feet long, so we're going to put the ladder going up to there. All right. Now, please watch this carefully, okay? If you read the problem, it says the ladder is 15 feet long. So we know this length right here, that's the length of the ladder, is 15. We also know the ladder makes an angle with the ground, and the angle is 70 degrees, right? That's pretty simple. And then we know this is a right angle right here. So I have a right triangle. I'm going to highlight it for you. Here's my right triangle. And their question is they want to know how high up the wall the ladder reaches. So they're basically looking for this length right here. From here down to here, they want to know how high up the ladder reaches. So I have a question for you. Would you please listen to me and watch? See this 70 degrees? Do you see that? Go straight across. What do we call this? X. Opposite. See this right angle here? Go straight across. What do we call 15? Hypotenuse. What two sides do you have? Opposite and hypotenuse. Now think of your trig functions. You have sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent equals opposite over adjacent. Now, you only have you only have two sides to work with here, hypotenuse and opposite. Well, is this hypotenuse and opposite? No. Is this hypotenuse and opposite? No. Is this hypotenuse and opposite? Yes. So we're just going to simply say the sine of 70 equals opposite, which is x, over hypotenuse, which is 15. There you go. Multiply both sides by 15, so you're left with x. Multiply the left side by 15, so you have 15 times the sine of 70, and the sine of 70 is 0.9397, so 0.9397. Now multiply those two numbers together, and you'll come up with 14.10. 14.10. So that's how high up the ladder is on the wall from here down to the ground. Pretty cool. Let's take a look at 32, and we're done with the whole assignment. You are constructing a skateboarding ramp like the one shown below. Your ramp will be 8 feet long, and the ramp angle is 22 degrees. Find the lengths of the legs of the triangles to support the ramp. Round your answers to the nearest inch. All right? If you'll look in your book, you'll see the triangle looks something like this. And what they filled in for us is a right angle there, 22 degrees here, and the ramp itself is 8 feet. This leg here they're calling X, and this leg here they're calling Y. Now they want us to find X and Y. This is just like the first problems we did earlier. We can't use 30, 60, 90. We can't use 45, 45, 90. We can't use Pythagorean's theorem. And we cannot use tangent, but we can use sine and cosine. So first of all, go to this angle, go straight across. This is going to be the opposite side. Here's the right angle, go straight across. We're going to call this the hypotenuse. Here's your third side, adjacent. So let's see what we can do. Sine of 22 degrees equals opposite, which is y, over hypotenuse 8. Multiply the right side by 8, you're left with y. Multiply the left side by 8, and you have 8 times sine of 22. Sine of 22 is 0.3746. 0.3746. Multiply those two numbers together, and you're left with 3. 3 equals y. So, now it did say, okay, that's feet. 3 feet. This is 8 feet. This is 3 feet. It did say they wanted your answers in inches. So your answer is 3, which is 3 feet. Well, if you have 3 feet, how many inches is that? 36 inches. So there's your answer. So y here is 36 inches. Now let's use cosine. Cosine of 22 degrees equals adjacent, which is x, over hypotenuse, which is 8. Multiply the right side by 8, you're left with x. Multiply the left side by 8, and you have 8 times the cosine of 22. Now the cosine of 22 is 0.9272. 0.9272. Multiply those two numbers together, and when you do that, you'll come up with 7.4. 7.4. Now that's feet. They want in inches, so you're looking at around 89 to 90 inches. So how'd I get that? Well, if you have 7.4 feet, I mean, there's 12 inches in a foot, so 7.4 times 12, you're going to get right at 89 to 90 inches. So x right here is 89 inches. I have gone fast on purpose, not to be rude, but you can go back and rewind, listen to it as often as you need to until you understand it, okay? All right, hope you guys are doing well. Hope this was a help to you.